There's a number that changes everything. Not $1,000. Not $10,000. It's $20,000. Because somewhere around $20,000 in savings, something weird happens to your brain, your bank account, and your life, and almost nobody talks about it. Most people think the hard part is getting your first $1,000 saved. And yeah, that's hard. But I'm going to show you why $20,000 is actually the number that separates people who stay broke forever from people who quietly become wealthy. And why the moment you hit it, your entire relationship with money flips upside down. Stick around, because rule number 3 on this list is the one almost nobody follows, and it's the reason most people never actually get here. Let's start with what happens in your head. When you have $500 in savings, every purchase feels dangerous. A $200 car repair? That's 40% of everything you own, gone in one afternoon. You're not managing money at that point, you're just trying not to drown. When you hit $5,000, you breathe a little easier. That's an emergency fund. That's if I lose my job tomorrow, I have 3 months to figure it out money. But $20,000 is different. At $20,000, you stop thinking about money as a number and you start thinking about it as a tool. That's the shift. Below $20,000, your brain treats savings like a wall between you and disaster. Above $20,000, your brain starts treating savings like a machine that can build more. This isn't just a vibe, it's backed by actual behavioral finance research. Once people build a cash cushion that covers real emergencies and leaves extra room, they make dramatically different decisions. They negotiate harder at work because they're not desperate for the paycheck. They walk away from bad deals. They stop making decisions out of fear and start making them out of strategy. I've seen it in my own life. When I had a few $100 to my name, I said yes to every gig, every extra shift, every request from my boss, because I couldn't afford to say no. Once I crossed $20,000, I said no for the first time to a project that didn't pay what I was worth. That single no led to a better opportunity 2 months later. That's not luck. That's what a cushion does, it buys you options. Here's where it gets genuinely fascinating, and this is the part nobody explains right. Let's say you're investing that $20,000 and getting an average 8% annual return, which is roughly in line with long-term stock market averages. At $1,000 saved, an 8% return gives you $80 a year. That's nothing. That's a nice dinner. It's not going to change your life, and it's definitely not going to motivate you to keep investing. At $20,000, that same 8% return gives you $1,600 a year, completely passive, no extra work, just sitting there compounding. That's a car payment. That's 2 months of groceries. That's real money showing up in your account without you lifting a finger. This is the moment people describe as, the market started paying me instead of the other way around. It's not that the market changed. It's that the base got big enough for the percentage to actually mean something. And here's the part that really messes with people's heads. From $20,000 to $40,000, roughly half of that growth can come from returns alone if you stay consistent, not from new contributions. You didn't work twice as hard. The money did. This is why financial advisors call the first $20,000 to $100,000 the hardest money you'll ever make, and everything after that the easiest. Once the snowball has enough mass, gravity does the rest. Now here's where I need you to pay close attention, because this is the part that determines whether you actually keep this money or lose it. Once people hit $20,000, one of two things happens. Path 1, lifestyle creep sneaks in. You feel rich for the first time in your life, so you upgrade the car, get the nicer apartment, start eating out more. 6 months later, that $20,000 is $8,000, and you're right back where you started. Except now your monthly expenses are higher, so it's even harder to rebuild. Path 2, you treat the $20,000 as a foundation, not a finish line. You keep your expenses roughly the same, and you let the number keep growing in the background while your life slowly gets better in smaller, sustainable ways. I've watched both of these play out with people I know personally. One friend hit $20,000 and immediately financed a $45,000 truck because he could afford the payment now. 18 months later, he had negative net worth again, just with a nicer truck depreciating in his driveway. Another friend hit $20,000 and didn't change a single thing about her lifestyle. 4 years later, she had over $90,000 and bought a house in cash for the down payment, no loan needed for the down payment portion, and she negotiated a lower rate because of it. Same starting number. Completely different outcomes. The variable wasn't the money. It was the decision made the moment they crossed the line. So let's get tactical. If you're approaching $20,000, or you just crossed it, here's exactly what separates the people who build real wealth from the people who reset back to zero. Rule 1: give every dollar a job before it lands in your account. The moment your paycheck hits, decide in advance where it's going: savings, investing, bills, spending. If you wait until the money is sitting there to decide, your brain will always find a reason to spend it. This is basic behavioral economics. Default decisions beat willpower every single time. Rule 2: automate the boring part. Set up automatic transfers into your investment account the same day you get paid. Not next week. Not when I have extra. The same day. This removes the decision entirely, and it's the single biggest predictor of whether someone actually reaches financial independence, according to almost every study on retirement savings behavior. And rule number 3, the one I promised you at the top, the one almost nobody actually does. Raise your savings rate every time your income goes up, before you raise your spending. This is the rule that breaks lifestyle creep before it starts. Got a raise? Before you touch a dollar of it, increase your automatic investment contribution by half of that raise. Keep the other half to enjoy, you earned it. But that first half goes straight into the machine, permanently, automatically, before you ever get used to having it. Do this consistently and something incredible happens: your income can double, triple, quadruple over your career, and your investing rate scales right alongside it, without you ever having to find extra money to invest. It was never extra. It was just redirected before your lifestyle could claim it. Let's zoom out, because I want you to see the full picture, not just the next milestone. If you consistently invest and let compounding do its job, the jump from $0 to $20,000 might take you 2, 3, even 5 years depending on your income and expenses, and it will feel like the slowest, most frustrating grind of your life. But the jump from $20,000 to $100,000? That often happens faster than you'd expect, because you're no longer just adding contributions. You're adding contributions on top of returns that are now large enough to matter. And the jump from $100,000 to $500,000 can happen even faster still, for the same reason: scaled up. This is the part almost nobody tells you: wealth building isn't linear. It's not a straight line where every dollar takes the same amount of effort as the last one. It's a curve. The first section of that curve is brutal, flat, slow, discouraging. But if you push through it without giving up or blowing it up with lifestyle creep, the curve starts bending upward, and eventually the math does more work than you do. $20,000 isn't a magic number because of what it buys you today. It's a magic number because it's usually the first point where you can actually feel the curve starting to bend. It's proof, in your own bank account, that the system works, and that proof is what keeps people going through the next, much steeper climb. So if you're sitting somewhere below $20,000 right now, I need you to hear this: the version of you on the other side of that number thinks completely differently about money than you do right now. Not because they got lucky. Because they made small, boring, repeatable decisions. Automate it, protect your savings rate as your income grows, and don't let a bigger number convince you to take bigger risks with your lifestyle. If this helped you see money a little differently, hit subscribe. I break down exactly this kind of stuff every week: no jargon, no gatekeeping, just the actual math and psychology behind building wealth from nothing. And drop a comment: are you above or below $20,000 right now? I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best video ideas on this channel come straight from you guys. See you in the next one.